Welcome to this channel, you lovely people, where we discover freedom through ideas about theology, philosophy, and self-discovery. I'm Nolan. Let's get rolling. So today we're going to be talking about the value of words. Now, I've got a personal story here, and it's not one I really like to share, but because of the nature of this channel and how I want to create it and build it, I believe in vulnerability and intimacy. So let me be transparent with you in saying I used to lie compulsively. It was a big problem for me growing up. My upbringing, just about everything, really. I mean, from all the way down from, and my mother and parents will attest to this, but from food I did not like to homework. I mean, the cliches, right? But even with food I didn't like, I'd say, oh yeah, I don't like this, but if I have to eat it, then I would sometimes, maybe push it under something I did like, or yeah, I'd lie about ways of getting rid of it without eating about it. Let's just put it that way. I got creative and usually always got found out as well. So I'm kind of ashamed of that, but at the same time, it's helped me remember that I no longer am that, and I no longer do that, and I have a challenge for you today as well as for myself to remember why I no longer do that, because I have a specific memory, really. It goes back to a specific memory, and let me set the scene here. I was about, I was in high school, and I used to say I didn't have homework when I did, as most kids do. And so when I would say I didn't have homework, and I usually did, it was some sort of math assignment most likely. And I remember a specific car ride. Normally, I'd get picked up from school about 3 o'clock, and we'd drive. We'd go home, and it was about a 15-minute drive. Those 15 minutes became prime nap time for me, on average. Prime nap time. So when we were driving, I would often maybe a little bit of small talk and then nap. Well, I remember one particular afternoon, my mother asked me, did I have any homework this evening? And I, in all honesty, really didn't. I said no. And she didn't believe me. That still hits me to this day, is that memory of her being very adamant that I had homework and I was hiding it. That really put it into perspective for me how often I had lied about this specific issue and others, and how used to lying from me she had gotten. It broke me. It made me cry. It was very emotional. It still kind of is. And I ended up that evening having to do the next day's math assignment, I believe, or come up with some math assignment. I figured I'd get a day ahead, because I had to do something. If I didn't do something, I would have been in trouble for not doing my homework. That was the day that I realized I needed to change. Something needed to change. It wasn't right. Now, I share this story in a reminder for the value of words. Obviously, my words were not valued as truth. A little bit time after that, I dedicated my life to Jesus, and as many of you know, I changed. And I call it a supernatural transition, but a lot of it was externally motivated, healthy human behaviors that started to get instilled in me. And that, for me, convicted me I remember a prayer session that convicted me to make my word my bond. I mean, we've kind of heard that saying, your word is your bond. You shake hands over a deal, it's a big deal, right? Especially in the business world. When I changed, when I dedicated my life, I quickly also made my word my bond. And I will note that I've lost some of that. I've started to be a little more wishy-washy on it. Even though I think something or believe something one way, I'll lean towards the other, and I'll make my words mean less by adding filler, by being polite, by whatever. And I have a very hard time letting my yes be yes and my no be no some days. So there's 3 main points I want to bring to your attention with the value of words. Point number 1. Words can hurt. Words can hurt. They simply can. And we all know the old adage, sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones love.
But they can hurt. And ultimately, there's 2 real main ways. I would say 2. Almost 3, but I'm just going to go with 2 main ways. And those are through lying, like I just mentioned in my story, but also slander and gossip. We often don't realize how much damage can be done through slander and gossip, through believing something wrong about somebody else. Even if we know it's not true, still having an inherent voice in the back of your head about somebody that you know isn't true. It's just not accurate. That'll break relationships over time. That'll tear people down over time if you let that belief stay there. Now, fortunately, I haven't done that very much, but I know the struggles with it very well. But ultimately, those 2 things lead to one major thing in a relationship happening: breaking trust. Both of those things break trust down. Huge. Before you know it, that person will not trust you anymore if your words have lost value through lying, slander, and gossip. Trust is absolutely major. The second main point is that words can help. So there is a good side to communication with people and being honest and being open. So obviously the opposite of lying is honesty and being open and transparent. So doing that can build and encourage people. It can absolutely build and encourage people, and especially the opposite of gossip, slander, is to esteem, to build them up and to make them realize that sometimes people, like myself on occasion, don't think that they're good enough or don't have a high self-esteem. And we often think that high self-esteem can be a bad thing, and I believe it can. It can become a double-edged sword, like that fine line between confident and cocky. We often hear those terms. So self-esteem can be a double-edged sword as well, but helping somebody and building their character through use of communication and admonishing them in a truthful way, in an honest way, is a big deal. Now, it's one thing to do so through lying and basically sucking up to somebody, but to build up and to do so in an honest way is a much more difficult chore. Even a small statement, as long as you believe it's accurate, can go a long way. For example, a simple compliment. I like your shirt today. Your makeup's done well. Whatever. Your shoes are on point. I like how you're smiling so much. Or hey, that last thing I just saw you do, that action, that was a good action. And affirming that about them, a good character trait, a virtuous character trait. So, a simple thing could easily go a long way through communication. Both of those, building, encouraging, admonishing, even superficial compliments, those create trust. They create trust. So really what it comes down to is, are you somebody who breaks trust or makes trust in a relationship? Are you building it or are you destroying it through your words? Because your words do mean something to other people. They are valued by other people, even if they're not valued by you, which is why I go back to your word is your bond. Because if you value your words as much as other people value them, and you act like it, it will create more beneficial for everyone relationships. Either way, they create a deep impact, and that's point number 3. Either way, they create a deep impact. Your words are valued by others at different times. Now, some people don't value your word at all, and some people make that known. They make it known that they don't value what you say. But that's not really people that you want to be around anyway. Those aren't really people you want to build relationships anyway, then. So, ultimately, your word is your bond, and you want it to build relationships. You want it to build trust. And it will create a deep impact in any relationship. So, really, I've got a challenge for you today. That challenge, and it's for myself, as always, as well, is to create a deep, positive impact in someone's life today.
But you're gonna say, I don't go outside much, I don't see other people often, COVID season, blah, blah, blah.
It's an excuse, because you have yourself. You are a people. You are a person. Easily. Talk about yourself. Talk to yourself, and recognize how you're talking to yourself. Is it a positive impact, or is it not? So, a deep positive impact to build somebody up, and that includes yourself. That's my challenge for you today. Remember that we are loved, and to like, comment, and subscribe. I also have a lot of other great content that might pique your interest. I'll put it on the screen here, somewhere around here. I also have a book for purchase with a link in the description below. A gaming channel that I kind of loosely use. I can put that in the description below as well. I do stream occasionally on there, and my wife and I, Amber and I, are starting a vlog channel. By the time this video is up, you should see at least 1 or 2 videos up on that channel as well. Remember that challenge. Talk to yourself positively. Again, like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to follow our journey, you can look at all the links in the description below, check out all the other stuff we're doing, and as always, you are appreciated, as it takes a community to grow together.